We are wrapping up things here at UFC 202, where Conor McGregor has evened the score against Nate Diaz, taking a decision when a lot of talk about the actual scoring there. It ended up being a majority decision in favor of Conor McGregor. Other people, though, saw the fight card going another way in the scores. What did you have that as?
You know, it's weird that so many people were talking about the scoring because I actually thought this was a pretty straightforward fight to score. Conor McGregor won rounds 1 and 2. Conor McGregor, I think, pretty clearly won round 4 as well. Now you've got round 3 and 5 going to Nate Diaz, and round 3 was scored a 10-8 on one of the scorecards. That led to a draw for one judge. But I thought 3 rounds to Conor, 2 rounds to Nate, pretty easy fight to score, and I think the judges got it right. Now, you can argue it probably should have been a unanimous decision. I don't think it should have been 10-8 in the third round, but hey, as long as the guy wins that's supposed to win, I think you're fine with that. I don't think you quibble too much over its majority decision or split decision. The right guy won.
We saw Nate Diaz here on the dice. It's brought up a little bit of discussion here on social media and within the room. It appears he was vaping with a pen, and it could or could not be a banned substance that he was vaping. Adam, what do you think about what was happening there with Nate?
Yeah, I'm rolling my eyes when you're bringing this up because not at the question or not at the thought of it, it's just something always happens. It's never just an easy night when you're covering UFC. Now, he said it himself. Now, if I was him, I probably would have said it's apple flavored, whatever, tobacco, whatever he's in there. He's got a vape pen. He says it's CBD oil. I start immediately looking up, as a lot of people do. I don't know anything about it. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, that's marijuana or that's cannabis and it's banned. I don't really know. There's a lot of split kind of thoughts on that. Nate already took his drug test tonight from USADA. Nevada Athletic Commission let USADA handle that, so they didn't test. 6 hours after the fight is considered in competition, so marijuana is banned. So right now they could theoretically come back, give Nate a drug test. He very well could fail and be facing a suspension because he admitted it up. There's no reason for him to say it. They could come back and test him right now. I don't think it's going to happen. I was told by people at the Nevada Commission that once they test, they have the right to test again. They've got 6 hours in competition, but they're not going to do it. So he's already he's past that time. USADA certainly could come back as well, and they can test whenever they want. They've got the 6 hours still being in competition, so they can go to his room later on tonight or try to find him wherever he is out in Las Vegas. I don't think it's going to happen. If you're going to vape on stage, just say it's something else. Just don't leave the questions out there. There's no need for it. And I'm being selfish. It creates more work for us, obviously. But for yourself, just don't say that.
Yeah, I would think that especially at this point he wouldn't, because we know that Nate wants that trilogy fight with Conor McGregor, and if he is in fact retested by USADA and something does come up, he could be very well facing a 2-year suspension. And then think about losing so much of that purse. I mean, his reported purse was $2 million, am I correct? And yeah. Conor's was $3 million. So imagine the fine on that.
That leaves the question, what's next? And Nate says, hey, I'm waiting for Conor. I don't think that's true. I think he'll take another fight in the meantime. And I think Conor has other fights on the horizon. It sounds like he doesn't want to fight Jose Aldo at 145. He looked like he was limping. He was on crutches. He went to the hospital. He says it's the shin and maybe not a serious injury, so maybe he can fight in New York. I would say if he fights in New York, if he's on that card, it'd be either Jose Aldo at 145 or far more likely Eddie Alvarez at 155 for the lightweight title. But yeah, he can sit on the sidelines and wait, and Conor might have the title at 155, and then it would make a lot more sense to do a trilogy fight with a belt on the line as opposed to right now they're just fighting at welterweight, no belts. That could add some intrigue to the drama.
Well, speaking of belts, we have Anthony Johnson placing himself up there in the light heavyweight division as a contender. A lot of talk circling still about whether or not it will be Jon Jones that he faces or Daniel Cormier that he faces next, or if Jon Jones and Cormier happens and then Anthony Johnson gets the winner of that fight. So a lot of questions still in the light heavyweight division, but I'm still wonderfully impressive finish there by Rumble, who finished Glover Teixeira in 13 seconds. Adam, what did you make of his performance, and what do you think is next?
Anthony Johnson touches you with a punch, you're going to sleep. I think we learned that. Glover Teixeira had not been knocked out since 2002 in his pro debut, and he went out with one punch, an uppercut from Anthony Johnson. That guy is a bad man, especially at 205. He just got so much power, and he's so healthy, not having to make those big weight cuts that he used to earlier in his career. He gets Daniel Cormier next. There's no doubt about it. That fight's going to happen. The Jon Jones stuff that's out there, listen, Jon hinted that he's got good news. He might be back. I think there's a good chance we're going to have a very strange fight in the court system / commission type setting coming up here, because I think it's very possible USADA and the UFC have some kind of a settlement or something comes about where Jon Jones gets a reduced penalty for whatever he claims he took. It's a very possible thing that could happen, so that's something to watch. That could be an ongoing thing for a while, but Anthony Johnson's fighting Daniel Cormier. That is going to happen.
Well, that is a wrap here from the UFC 202 T-Mobile Arena. Adam Hill and Heidi Fang for covering the cage. Keep an eye out this week as the rankings will be updated on coveringthecage.com.